Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, everyone. Ramadan Kareem. Siyam Makbul for all of us, inshallah. And it's amazing to see their colleagues, their students, their participants, all of you here today. And we are today, I'm trying to count the number of days of Ramadan. I might be wrong, but we haven't reached the half. I know that. So, but when you don't have food, actually, your brain is difficult to kind of process. So, thanks for your support to our program, for joining today. Today, we have an amazing speaker, Design Post-COVID Humanity Ramadan Summit. Today's speaker is Ahmed Walid. And Ahmed Walid is a high school student from Doha Secondary School. He's an enthusiastic science communicator who loves exploring and researching in the hidden gems of this universe. So, Ahmed, definitely you're in the right place. So we'll explore together. Ahmed Walid is the FameLab national winner of 2020. This is when he was crowned the best science communicator of 2019-2020 after delivering an exciting talk about cardiovascular diseases. Ahmed, in his free time, he enjoys enrolling in various health science related courses, and this is why he holds a number of certificates from Harvard University. Mabruk. Ahmed's goal is to become a professional physician who can heal rather than cure. Ahmed, also, you are very poetic, by the way. I'm sure this bio is like, mashallah, amazing. Aside from his interest in studying about diseases and its impact on living organisms, he enjoys the beauty of the Mother Nature. His research titled My Beautiful Herbarium has secured a win last year in the research exhibition under the program Young Plant Researcher organized by Chronic Botanic Garden. And that is why he is here today to share with us his research. Dear Ahmed, Walid, Abdelkader, their brother, we are so honored to have you. And while I was actually reading your bio and conveying it to our participants, you reminded me of a TV show right now I'm watching on Netflix called New Amsterdam. I'm not sure. Have you seen that?
I've heard about it, yes.
Yeah, you should definitely watch because it's all about the famous doctor, the director of the hospital. And he also uses the word, we don't cure, we heal people. He uses also another word, but just remind me of that. So have a look at that. It's very interesting. So thank you so much for your support. The floor is yours. Are you going to be sharing a screen or?
Yes, I'll be sharing a screen in just a minute, I guess.
Okay, the floor is yours. Thank you so much once again. And dear participants, enjoy such a fantastic young mind.
Right, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Ahmed Walid. I'm from Doha Secondary School, and yes, you heard that right, Doha Secondary School, because I'm just 17 years old now. Today we will speak about. I'll be sharing with everyone about my research titled "My Beautiful Herbarium." It's going to be very, very interesting, and I hope everyone will enjoy this. So let me share my screen now, because I will kick off now. Can I get a confirmation? Can you see the PowerPoint?
Not yet, there, Ahmed. Not yet. You are the co-host, right? So there's nothing wrong about that. And
I mean, we have tried We've been in Zoom a lot, so it should be something on our fingertips, but there's something wrong. Okay.
Are you sharing the screen or the PowerPoint? Sometimes there's a glitch or something.
So it says allow Zoom to share your screen, open system preferences. Open system preference, security and privacy to grant access. Okay, so there is no access. Let me check out the access. I'm very sorry for the delay.
No problem. Do you want to share it with me if you want, or I can just pull it up for you?
Yes, you can. I mean, can you share the screen from your side? Is it possible?
I just did like with the video, right? So there's no problem from my side. If you want, you can just email me the PowerPoint.
Sure, I will.
Or if it is like another document, then I can do it for you.
Okay, yes, we got it right. I think you did something, and I think it's working now. Share. Hope. Is it working?
Done.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So today we will kick off with my research. So as you can see here, this is the title of my research. So impact of my beautiful herbarium associated with a smartphone app in documenting the taxonomy, history, and raising people's awareness about flora in Qatar. I know it's a long one, but I promise it's gonna be interesting. So let's go through it. Okay. So our goal today is very simple. It's on a timeline that is very, very straightforward. On the left here, we will start with the story time with that bio class, because this is when everything started. More specifically, this is when the research started. After this, we will go, that's the after COVID-19 had hit. I will go through the interactive herbarium, which is actually the research itself, along with the smartphone app. So hope you're excited, because I'm excited too, and let's kick in. So we'll go back in time just a year ago, or maybe a little bit longer. This is when I was in the biology class in my school. And so my teacher was explaining about, so we had this unit that was really, really, really long about plants and about botany. Now, you know, none of us found it interesting at all, because it wasn't just a chapter or two, it was a lot, because it was a complete unit. And I can remember my friend, he really wants to become a doctor. He wants to join the medical school. He made fun of, why are we studying, why are we studying plants? We're not gonna, we're not gonna transplant a heart in a leaf, or we're not gonna, what else? We're not gonna do an angioplasty to a plant, right? Why are we studying it? It's not useful at all. And back then, everyone made fun. I mean, everyone supported him, including me, sadly. But because we did not find, I mean, I personally did not find very interesting to study about plants. But little did I know, later I found that it is really important to study about plants, because the work of botanists on the left here, the work of botanists was critical for characterizing the basic structure of living organisms. So if we go back in time, very, very back, this is in the 1600s. This is when actually Robert Hooke did his first inspection under the microscope, when he saw a plant specimen. He saw like a little small, not a very symmetrical rectangular shape, and this is when he called it the cell. And this is when the whole world came to know that the basic structure of a living organism is a cell. So this all started from the plants, right? Now, please take a note of this. 1/4 of the prescription drugs came directly from plants and our plant derivatives. This is really important. This is really important because if I can refer to this, the caffeine, I would say, that is used to treat fatigue and also used to treat migraines. And migraines, if you don't know, it's a specific type of headache that is associated with one one side of the head. You get a headache associated with one side of the head, so either the right or the left. And I can tell you it's really, really, really painful. Caffeine is used here as a drug used as a pain reliever in this case here. Now, where did this drug come from? From plants. So where exactly? From coffee beans. That's the most obvious one. From tea leaves. So cacao pods. The cola nuts. I think I pronounced it right. Yeah, cola nuts and the guarana. A lot of sources here. They are all from plants. Not convinced yet? Take this. And this is really important. Aspirin. Aspirin is used to train, of course, it's used as a pain reliever. But this is a very important use. It's also used as an anti-clotting drug. Especially with today, today, if I ask anyone here, what is the world's leading killer? I'm pretty sure, some of you might get it right. And some of you, or maybe at least one, will say it's COVID-19, but it's not COVID-19. Luckily it's not COVID-19. The world's leading killer is actually cardiovascular diseases, with about nearly 13 million deaths every single year. And that number keeps growing. So when we say cardiovascular diseases, we mean it's a class of diseases that is associated with the heart, so cardiology, the heart, and it's also associated with blood vessels. Now, when we say cardiovascular diseases, we mean heart attacks, myocardial infarctions. Myocardial infarction is just a fancy way of saying heart attacks. Heart attacks is way more common. Also strokes. And this is when, to make things simple, heart attacks, it's when a coronary artery, that's an artery that is on the heart, that feeds the heart muscles, gets blocked. There is some blood that's clotted inside. So this is very dangerous because it will block the blood flow inside, and it will the nutrients will not reach the cell, and eventually the muscle will die. So again, aspirin is used here to block this clotting if it happens, and it can save lots of people. And it's very important as of now, as I said, as cardiovascular diseases are the world's leading killer. So where does this drug come from? Again, most of the component of this drug of aspirin come from plants. So it comes from the most component, the key component of the aspirin is the salicylic acid that comes from the salix, which is found in the willow bark. So again, very important. All of these drugs are very important, and they come from plants. So see, plants are really important, and we definitely need to study and make time for them, make time for plants, right? Because they are really helpful. Without them, the life wouldn't exist. And look at the third point here. It regulates the ecosystem. I'm sure everyone can relate to this. 100%. So see, plants, studying about plants is very common. It's very helpful. Now, until when that time the teacher brought us this 4 pictures in front of us, and this is the plant herbarium. Pay attention, because this is actually the research. This is when the research actually starts. So here, as you can see, we have 4 pictures on our left. These are the herbariums. These are the plant herbariums. Now, again, do you find it eye-catching? Do you find it interesting? I'm sorry to say this, but I find it boring somehow. I'm really sorry to say this. At that time, we did not find this interesting at all. And this not interesting thing made us want to know, what is this about? So, just on our right here, we have the plant herbarium. It's a herbarium that, the herbarium is a collection of dried plant specimens, as you can see here on the picture. Different plant specimens that were collected and are mounted on a sheet of a paper. Now this paper is it's a specific one. It's just not like the ordinary A4 paper. It's a specific one used for only herbariums. So the mounted plants are labeled with their proper scientific names. And if you look at here, the first picture on our right, we have the scientific name here at the bottom. If you could see this closely, also the name of the collector, sometimes the name of the collector, and usually usually information about where they were collected and how they grew and general observations. And we can see here there's a little cue card, there's a little card with those informations there. So it kind of acts as a bank. We save important plants in those papers, and they are called the plant herbariums, and they're very helpful. But that time it wasn't very interesting to us. But for me, it was a little bit of an art. It is actually an art, but still I wasn't convinced of using it, right? Especially with our age group. So what happened was, this is when it actually started. This was a problem. And every research, most of the research starts with a problem. So here we go. This is the research problem. Lack of awareness of the types of plants found in the state of Qatar, their benefits, and the importance of preserving plant diversity. There's a huge lack of awareness about the plants here in Qatar, more specifically, that I found as a student when I was in grade 11. And this is a problem. This is a huge problem. Why? Because we need to study about plants. Why is studying about plants important? As I said, it is really important because it maintains the ecosystem around us. It's important because they are of great sources for food and for also some important, very important drugs. The second problem here is absence of, this is very niche. This is very of a more specific one. Absence of a smartphone app that can document the taxonomy history of plants found in Qatar. So this is the problem, and I was like, let's get into this research. So the research question is here, very obvious, very clear. Is it possible to spread awareness among the Qatari community about plants in the Qatari plant environment through my beautiful herbarium, which is the title of my research? And the answer is yes, and we will see how. The second question here is, can we contribute to the documenting the taxonomy history of plants in the state of Qatar through my research, my beautiful herbarium? We will see this next. So these are the research questions that are very important. Now, why is this research very important? So to break down the research importance into a more kind of like a chronological, in a chronological order, I've divided into two sections, in a theoretical dimension and in a practical dimension. If we go through the theoretical dimension, it's just a new innovative way of designing plant herbarium through an interactive approach. So the herbarium itself that you saw wasn't very interactive and wasn't even attractive for us or for the students, specifically for me. So with this research, it will implement a new interactive way of the herbarium. And that's the first importance in the theoretical dimension. The second importance, also in theoretical dimension, is documentation of the taxonomy history of plants in the state of Qatar through an electronic phone application. We will be able, with this research, to document the taxonomy of each plant, most of the plants, and hopefully every single plant in here in Qatar through an electronic phone application. And the practical dimension, of course, this is the most common, the most important of all. Under the practical dimension, to support the Qatar's national vision in the field of leadership in providing permanent, innovative, and high-quality learning opportunities for the Qatari community through the harmonization of the plants, of all plants in the state of Qatar as a national project. So, please take a look at these three pictures. So on the left, we have the plant herbarium. This is the ordinary plant herbarium that we saw, and that we found as students not very interesting to us. After the COVID-19 has hit, I started to realize that all the restaurants around, most of the restaurants at least, have actually moved to a more of a QR code menu. So you just go and scan the QR code and you have the menu on your phone, rather than just getting a paper and spreading those viruses, right? So I took the idea of the QR code to kind of more support the plants with more information that is more approachable and more interactive rather than attractive. It's also attractive, by the way. I've also took the idea of I wanted to build something out of the ordinary plant herbarium. I want it to be a digital herbarium, if I could say. And so the only thing we had in our school that made sense to use was the Mindstorm kit, because it's definitely available in every single school or every single educational institution, right? So I took these three ideas together and I tried to, of course, with hard work, but things are simple here. With hard work, I came to a final, let's say, project, which is this. On my right here is the interactive herbarium. So as you can see here, the idea of the herbarium itself is not changed because we cannot change science. It's definitely here. But what we have added, so what I've added up there is the QR code, if you can see. And with the help of this QR code, you can actually scan it with your phone right away and read about the plant, or even watch a video about the plant, which is really, really interesting. Now, also, the card, the information card is definitely on its side as it is. But what's on the top right here is the ultrasonic Mindstorm sensor that we have seen, that I used from the Mindstorm kit that is from here, right? So this is the Mindstorm robot kit. I used the ultrasonic sensor and the brick here, and I made the interactive herbarium with these two. So with the help of the sensor, the plant can now introduce itself by itself. It's interesting, right? It's very, very interactive with the human being, with us as students, as eager learners, right? So you stand in front of the plant. You stand in front of the herbarium, the interactive herbarium, and the ultrasonic sensor will detect that someone is standing in front of the herbarium, and it will start to play the recording that I, as a builder or as a developer of the kit here, it will start to play the recording. So what it will say, hello, thank you for approaching. This is I'm this and this, of course, as a plant. I'm very helpful in this and this fields. I'm commonly found here in this and there, some parts of here in Qatar, and I'm very, very helpful because of this and that. So the plant here will introduce itself by itself. It's not going to go forever talking, just a minute or 60, not less than 60 seconds, definitely, just to introduce yourself. Now, with this way, it's more interactive. There is more interaction with the person who wants to learn. It's more attractive, definitely more attractive. You see this little two red eyes at the top. What is this gonna do? Is it gonna like shoot a laser or something? Nah, it's not. Oh, it started talking right now. Oh, wow. So there is attraction there. You can also, of course, the talking, the 60 seconds is not of a very huge amount of information. Is just the common most important information, and if you want to get in depth, you can just scan the QR code. Exactly. I'm just acting like the online classes nowadays. So there's more resources. Definitely there's more resources. With the help of the QR code, I can put more information about the plant, either on words so people can write them, or in videos, in video form so people can watch them. It's more flexible. There's a more flexible usage. Definitely we can use it. Oh, wow. We can use it in a lot of places. We can use it in schools actually and universities. Definitely, this is where it should be used in the first place, and this is where the actual idea came from. It can also be used in museums. Wow, how? Well, we can document the taxonomy of each plant through the interactive herbarium in museums to talk about the most common plants of the country, right? So something like, the Prosopis cineraria. Hope I pronounced it correct, because scientific names, especially plants, are always there's a little bit of a inch into it. So Prosopis cineraria, it's also known as the graph. It's a very important plant, a very common plant here in Qatar, but I'm very sad, I'm very sorry to say this, it's actually endangered. So you see, there's a huge problem in the plants, of course, in the diversity of plants here, and I personally fear this lack of awareness and this lack of spreading in the future, right? With the help of this research, we can get things back on track. Also, another common plant here in Qatar is the Ziziphus numularia, and I hope I pronounced it correct. It's the sidr. It's also known as the sidr. This is the common name, and it's a very common plant here in the country. We can document those plants with the help of this interactive herbarium in museums. That's a good one there. Also art galleries and even hospitals. It's definitely an art. It's definitely an art. Even hospitals. Wow. Yes, we can use it in hospitals to help people. You know, hospitals are not only the place to, of course, it's the place to get cured, definitely. But in the meantime, if you can help people get to know something new, of course, related to health, that would be really, really interesting, right? So we can document some very important plants in the field of medicine, such as the aspirin, as I said earlier, in hospitals. That would be a very, very great idea. So this is the 3D geometric design of the herbarium, the interactive herbarium. This is the shape itself, and this is the front view. This is where the ultrasonic sensors are, and then the back. This is where the brick is actually located, and it's not very seen from the front side, of course, which is something to make sense, definitely. This is where the herbarium is located. And of course, this is where the card information is actually there. Now, I want to walk everyone through the processes because it was a long journey. It was definitely more than a year. So, you know, we collected the plant samples, me and my friends in our school. We did this collaborative work to start together. And as you can see here, we have collected so many different plants from different regions here in Qatar. And those plants are really, some of them are very, very common. Some of them, sadly, are not very common. We have collected those plants also from our garden, from our school garden. We have a little small garden that we plant some of the plants there. We collected the plants and we dried them up using the press that I have actually made, handmade one, because I thought it's just going to save time and it's going to be efficient, right? Something at the school itself. It will be very helpful. And with the help of this, of course, we dried the plants in a specific drying paper. Every week, every day, we had to change the paper, and then we moved to an every week where we change the papers to dry the plant out or dry the specimen out. And then we actually did this we recorded all the plant informations on a table. There's a long list, but I just kept a very short one, a very simple one here. So plant samples were collected from different places, and their data were recorded and approved by a specialist, of course, in the Agriculture Research Center. And this is how it looks like. So the papaya, the marigold, the collis, and the scientific name here, the Arabic name, and of course the photo of the plant. This is the process, all right? Now, you remember when we went back at the beginning of the research, we said associated with a smartphone app. So this is the complementary aspect of the research. This complements the whole research. So as you can see here, there's a smartphone app. After we have collected each single plant, as you can see here, we have listed those in a smartphone app that can be accessible to everyone. Now, the main goal behind this is to raise awareness. So definitely we need to make it more accessible. Of course, besides the interactive herbarium. So this is the smartphone app. Of course, it's a little bit simple, but it's really efficient. If we see this is the main home page after, of course, the splash screen. We have so the plants are listed as under their family names, and then we see under this family name we have a plant with its scientific name, and if you click on it, you will go to this page right here on the right of the slide. Where you could see the family name, the scientific name. You can get to also know more information about the plant, which is bilingual for sure, or maybe it can definitely be in different languages for sure in the future. Now, the Arabic names, definitely here, locality, verified by, of course, Dr. Said Lazazi, and collectors. This is the name of the collectors and the date of collection. And the best part, which I totally love about this app, is the GPS, right? It's the location of that plant. And this is really helpful because we can actually see by a specific period of time, whether this plant will increase or in numbers or decrease. And this is how we will try to see if it will be, if this specific plant is an endangered species or not. And this will help us to act, definitely. So this map is definitely a very good source for all the students, for all scientists, and for all biologists for sure. So the research here, after we have done the smartphone app, we actually wanted to test the phone app. So the interactive plant herbarium was implemented for sure, and the electronic application itself was published, and then the research samples was provided with a form link to evaluate the information contained in the application. And the analysis of the questionnaire was as follows. So, and as you see on the left here, this was a lot of kind of like a survey, you could say, that we got from around 50 users. So first question, now the results are magnificent. They are really great. And that tells us that this research is actually of a good one. And we have answered actually the questions of this research in the beginning. So if we walk through these questions really, really fast, did you download the application? 100% said yes. How easy did you find the app? 97% referred to easy, so that's a good point. It wasn't complicated at all, and you can actually see that from the app. It's not very complicated, and it has a very good interface experience there. It's very easy to use. Now, how useful were the information about the plants in the application? 74% said useful. So that's very good. Where I'm glad they came to know something new about the plants here in Qatar that they did not know about. And this is all about raising awareness. Next question here, which is really important. How many new plants do you come to know about? 8 to 10 plants. 76% of the users said 8 to 10 new plants. 18% said 4 to 7, and 0 to 3 around 6%. So it's actually good, right? There are good, very good, satisfying results here. Do you recommend the app to others? 100% yes. And I'm glad look at the 100%, very sharp, very attractive there. App reviews about 4.74 average rating for the app. Very successful. So in conclusion, we're getting there, everybody. In conclusion, after implementing the app, after implementing the plant herbarium, of course, and first, my beautiful herbarium, and achieving the research objectives, we can conclude very important thing that it is actually possible to adopt a national project through cooperation with the competent authorities in the field of plants, with the aim of collecting samples of plants, more samples, in the state of Qatar, and designing an interactive plant herbarium equipped with an electronic phone application that includes these plants and even definitely more, to provide a unique database about plants in the state of Qatar interactively, and contributing to the documenting, of course, the taxonomy of each plant history in the state of Qatar. This is the conclusion, everybody. I think it's good news. Good news. We have reached kind of the end of the research. I hope this was interesting, and something really interesting that I should refer to now. My herbarium can actually talk. Since my herbarium can actually talk, we both would like to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who paid attention. I hope you inferred something really helpful out of this, and because it's really important to get in depth about the study of plants, because it will, as I said, it will help us. It will help us as they are important sources of food and, of course, nutrients. Food and medications and drugs. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you for paying attention. And I'm open. I'm off stage, but not off Zoom. I'm open to any questions, any comments. Yeah. Let's hear.
Thank you so much there, Ahmed. This was fantastic. And I'm sure that our audience will be very excited to share some reflections and questions. Anyone, please, you can raise your hand or you can simply, I will actually allow participants to unmute themselves. So there's one question, it's coming from there, Sabika. Yes, please, Sabika. The floor is yours.
Thank you so very much. And thank you, Ahmed, for that really incredible presentation. I suppose the first thing I would say as a researcher to a researcher. It was really fantastic to know how comprehensive it was and how detailed it was, and you kind of covered all these different angles. So it's really commendable. As a person working in a university, talking to a high schooler, I just wanted to also say that it's pretty incredible. The way you presented the information, I did not expect that level of professionalism and knowing how to deliver ideas. Like, I was hooked from beginning to end. I kid you not. And I can also vouch 100% that it is not to be underestimated, this particular talent to communicate ideas. I mean, I personally listen to a lot of, students, graduate students, masters and PhD, listen to a lot of professors, and it's not always common to find someone very eloquent who can actually relay their ideas and get people excited, even though I have nothing to do with plants and have no concept of how plants relate to pharmacology or medication or whatever it is. So I really did learn a lot. So I did want to commend you on both those points. My question would be that it's interesting because your interest, your bio mentioned that your interest in to become a physician, and you've taken this very particular angle in terms of plants and its impact on and its relationship with medicines. And I'm guessing it's because of your own experiences in school. Now that you've delved into research, are you thinking about other ways to branch out the skill set? Are you thinking of new different areas you'd like to explore from a research angle while you're doing so well with this?
Thank you so much. Thank you for commenting. It really means a lot to me. Definitely, I really want to expand the research because I definitely know my research skills. Thank you for saying that it was perfect, but it's still not up to the perfection, right? I really want to expand my research abilities and through various topics, through, of course, the topics that are really interesting to me and that are health sciences, of course, things that could do with the health of the human being and their well-being, of course. I really want to dig deep into this specific branch of study, especially research. But of course, knowing that plants are really important and I really like spending my time with them. This is why I loved talking about plants, and this is why I actually presented on plants. But to branch out, I definitely want to branch out through medicine and more of fields related to health science. Something related specifically vitamin D. Nowadays we see that almost everyone, let me say, including me, we have some little bit of a vitamin deficiency, little bit, okay, not that much, not of a concerning point, but it's common. It's common along a lot of people, not only in Qatar, actually, it's very common in Qatar, but not only Qatar, actually, even Canada also, and a lot of countries. And I really wanted to dig deep into this topic and research into this field because I think it's very common and will really help a lot in the future. So yeah, a lot of topics actually, but this is one of the most important one of the ones that I actually want to start on, vitamin D deficiency.
There, Sabika, I can also see another question that you posted as a follow-up, I guess. Do you want to share it, or maybe I can just read it out? So for Ahmed, can we reach out to you for a presentation of the project when future opportunities come up, especially to other high schoolers and interest groups? If yes, please share your email.
Sure, I will share my email now.
Okay. While Ahmed is typing up,
here we go.
Ahmed Walid 2405 at Gmail. And Bayan Halet, our wonderful research fellow, just posted a question. And the question is, so what do you want to do as a career path? Pharmaceutical, company maybe, or she's, I think, wondering about
I guess you answered that question, but I was just thinking that that would have been the perfect career path for you if you would go into like developing medicines for people through plants, because that's like a beautiful mix between medicine and plants for you.
Actually, yes, it makes it makes a huge sense to talk about plants and have some, want to be a physician. So if you mix those up together, this would be a very common one and very interesting one for sure to be. But now, of course, again, I wanted to more of implement research in my work as a physician rather than just approach people and help. Of course, approaching people, helping people, curing people, or maybe healing is very important. But of course, I really want to dig deep into the research side. So I think this makes sense and I don't have any problems with it at all. But I would rather start with medical school in the beginning. Sorry to say this, because I'm really, really, really fascinated about studying in a medical school. And I actually, during my free time, I joined a lot of courses with, I think as the introduction was put, with Harvard University about some of the, especially the medical school of Harvard in different various topics. Of course, the most recent one about COVID-19. So we're talking about, I've listened to a talk or a course about the problems associated with a vaccine development of the COVID-19. But again, just to make things simple, cut things short, I would really find working in a pharmaceutical place very interesting to me, and that would definitely make sense to be at.
Don't ever be sorry for wanting to be a physician. That's a very honorable job, and they're the heroes today and every day, I think. But anyway, I just wanted to echo what Sabika was saying about your presentation skills. Mashallah, very amazing job. And I did notice that like I've also attended a lot of presentations by many different people, and yours was by far very unique and very like you just managed to capture our attention and keep it the whole time. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.
Okay, let's actually keep the momentum. Our regular, actually, let's say volunteer for questions in our events. I guess he's asking his 40th question in a row, Mr. Tekang. He's always into questions. So there, Tekang, please unmute yourself and ask your 41st question in a row.
That's an interesting one from you. Thanks, Dr. Talk. Hi, Ahmed. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, and I hope you too.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, sure. I'm kicking. Permit me to try to add my voice to the choir for the praises of giving you. Honestly, I'm not into science. That's where you find yourself in social sciences, but the way you presented your stuff is like in a PhD defense. So I'm sure by the time you get there, it's going to be probably wonderful, and you're going to probably throw it in some kind of very heavy stuff. Here's my question. Before we got to modern medicine, we had probably traditional medicines. All countries in the world definitely passed through that. Do you think that there should be a possibility, or from your side, to document the evolution of traditional medicine getting to what it is today as modern medicine? Because I think it might be good, but it's going to depend on you.
Okay, I got half of the question. I'm sorry to say this, but could you just repeat the question again? I'm very sorry.
Okay. Do you think that it's going to be a possibility from your part to try to document traditional medicine in the way it's evolved from, whether in the 1st century, 19th, and whatever century, right up to what we got today as modern medicine in the 21st century. So people get to know that before we got Divaqueen, before we got the paracetamol, this is what originally we're using. Probably herbs, this herb was doing this one was curing this, and all the like.
Definitely, 100% yes. With the help of this interactive herbarium, we could bring the aspects of the how the drug evolved through the interactive herbarium, of course. And I think I referred to this when I talked about the aspirin. We could show different plants of which, or different specimens of which the salicylic acid was actually where the actual resource was, and how we came to find that this was the key component of the aspirin. So definitely will help raise more awareness to people about how the traditional medicine evolved in terms of course, paying more closely to drugs, how they evolved, because at the end of the day, it's a herbarium. So it's more about plants. So everything about plants. And yes, I think this is the main goal of behind this research behind the interactive herbarium more specifically. Thank you for asking this question. I hope this answered your question.
Yeah, sure. Probably a tricky one. In your views, are you going to probably encourage people to go probably take traditional medications, or to stick to what is being developed today in the pharmaceutical world?
Oh, okay. So of course, which one is more efficient, right? Which one will save time, but is more efficient? Which one will save people in a shorter period of time? So it does not matter. I think everything has evolved right now. So it definitely makes sense to use the more modern ways of curing people rather than just going to the older ones. Definitely the older ones were 100% efficient, but they will not be as safe as, or not as much as a time saver as of the today's developments, right? Of course, because if this wouldn't be the case, I mean, we wouldn't have seen any developments in those ways of curing people, right? Now, definitely, it's definitely healthy for, I mean, definitely useful, the older ways of medication to some regions of the world where the resources are not very, very I mean, reachable to them. This is why they go for them, for these types of sources, for these types of ways of medication. But of course, with the advancement in technology and advancement of science, we will definitely we have to be up to date. We cannot go back, because up to date means more efficient, less time consuming, and low risks.
Thanks very much. I'm going to quit the stage. Basma has a question. Thanks very much, bro.
Thank you, Tekang, there, bro. And dear Dr. Basma, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Salamullahi alaikum. Salamullahi alaikum. I would like to congratulate Ahmed. MashaAllah, ya Ahmed. It was really amazing, as everybody said. And I would like to thank very much Dr. Evren for giving us this chance to listen to Ahmed and to see this achievement. It's, MashaAllah, amazing achievement. And I would like to just to comment on your effort, Ahmed, and the great connection between the earth, nature, land, plants, medicine, technology, youth, energy, and enthusiasm in such great ways. You are an ideal, inshallah, for all your colleagues. I hope you introduce all your friends to this program and to let them join you in this nice knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Evren.
Thanks to you, Dr. Basma. Your words mean a lot to us. Actually, we really deeply appreciate. Dear Alina, please.
Yes. Hi, Ahmed. I just wanted to say that before, when I heard that you're a high school student, I mean, I didn't even imagine, as the others said, that your presentation would be this amazing. So, mashallah. And like for me, before, like when my friends presented their research to do with plants at an undergrad level, I would attend it, but like halfway through, like I would easily get bored. But with yours, like from the beginning till the end, I was just hooked onto it. And I've never been so fascinated about plants before. But that's, yeah, so kudos to you. And the other question I had is, when you were collecting samples of the plants, so did you have to wear like specific gloves, or like, so you wouldn't like get any allergies or like any reactions? So yeah, so what gear did you have on?
So we had, of course, the most common gears, the goggles for sure, and the gloves definitely. And we actually wear the lab coat. these are really important. And as you said, to just stay away from any allergies. And at that time, it was really windy. So it made sense to use these. So it made sense to use, of course, the goggles and the gloves more specifically, because they will help you be more safe from anything getting into your eyes, or maybe your nose, or maybe your mouth. So this is where the most common places. This is when actually pathogens actually get into your body. These are one of the most common places. We wear the mask definitely, for sure. Yeah, I think that's the ones I can actually remember.
Okay.
More straightforward.
Okay, great. MashaAllah. Keep up the amazing work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alina, for the amazing question and reflections. And I know that the allergies and all other like health features are very important, because it's not an easy area, and even sometimes a small like ignorance or lack of precautions can create, you know, like a health problem. So I think that's a very important question. And of course, like this takes me actually to the my final question. I want, if possible, I kind of need dear Ahmed to reflect on this component. We are, as Maker Majlis, we are really keen in building partnerships, and in the past perhaps a decade or so, we have done amazing programs with Quranic Botanic Garden. So please, finally, can you just in a few minutes talk about your experience and the wonderful support that you have obtained from Quranic Botanic Garden and their important role in the Qatari ecosystem, please?
Sure, definitely. So when I participated last year, it was my first time, definitely. And it was really, really great to see people with the same interest around you. So we had to present our research on like a specific cardboard style. So students would like sit together in a kind of a half a cube or half a square, let's say, and the judges would come to each and everyone, and they would hear from students. It was really, really a good, very excellent experience, because I had to not only share my research with them, but also to get to know more friends. I actually made a lot of friends with them. And I think such a competition would be very, very helpful for the ecosystem, because it's all about plants, it's all about botany. And again, I cannot stress much on this. They are very important for the ecosystem, for the balance of the ecosystem more specifically. You know, and the best way to, I guess, get to learn more about them is through this competition. The botanical garden is a wonderful place to get resources. I actually got a lot of resources from them, especially with the way of doing a herbarium, setting a herbarium, okay? The ordinary way of doing a herbarium. They have a lot of resources on Instagram, a lot of lives, a lot of IGTVs. You can watch them, and they really implement this topic about plants and how important to how important they are to the ecosystem, and more specifically to the Qatar and to its environment. So it was a very wonderful experience, and I hope I can participate again in the future, if it's possible.
Inshallah, inshallah. I wanted to make sure that we also delivered the message to, because now it's actually on YouTube and many people watch us like now or record it. So we want to make sure that Quranic Botanic Garden is really acknowledged, and we also create vibrancy and also like a kind of more attention to their future events, because it's very important for the youth to be cognizant of all these opportunities. There, Brother Ahmed, we are extremely grateful to your contribution and to your support to our program. And also we are grateful to Quranic Botanic Garden for putting us in contact with you and hosting you today. We wish you a blessed month of Ramadan to you and to your family. Please keep up the great work. And we would like to see you, inshallah, on the cover page of New York Times one day.
Hopefully, inshallah. Thanks for having me. It was a great honor. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.
We really did.
Inshallah.